Joining our conversation, MSNBC contributor Neil Katyal, former acting U.S. Solicitor General, Georgetown University law professor. You've been so prolific on all these topics. I want to just say what I usually say to Steve Schmidt, go.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think there's been a lot of velocity in these developments. I mean, 3 days ago, I wrote a piece in the New York Times calling for a second impeachment of Trump because of the Trump tapes in Georgia, where he was, the quaint crime of just trying to extort and steal an election. Now, of course, he's, waging war on the institutions of our democracy. And when I wrote that piece, I didn't think that things would happen in 2 weeks. I thought it would be a long process of impeachment. But this thing has a lot of velocity. And to me, one kind of key indicator is that the National Association of Manufacturers, which is a center-right group like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they came out yesterday and said 25th Amendment. And I think that there are three basic reasons why people are talking 25th Amendment or perhaps impeachment. One is we got to stop this guy from flexing the powers of the presidency in the next 13 days. I mean, we wouldn't tolerate this kind of leader as a CEO of a company, or frankly, even the guy running the local pizza parlor for the next 13 days. As a leader of the free world, imagine what Trump can do, the harm he can do, give away state secrets, invade some country, or most poignantly, remember what President Johnson did after the Civil War. He went and pardoned, gave amnesty to all of the Confederate soldiers and all the people who attacked the United States. Trump could do the same thing use his pardon powers with respect to all those people that he now loves as of yesterday. So that's one reason. The other two are to set a precedent for the future that, the Ukraine, impeachment, which didn't result in his conviction, was a terrible precedent. I mean, I wrote a book about it at the time and said, if we fail to impeach this guy, imagine what he's going to do with that precedent in the future. Imagine how much he'll cheat, steal, and lie. And look, I'm no Nostradamus or anything. I'm just a guy with an average IQ and not a party hack. And, and that's exactly what happened. And we can't have that for future presidents. And then finally, we got to get everyone on the record. House, Senate, members of cabinet, if they got to be able to, be put to a vote and say, do you really believe and want to stand with this nonsense? If you do, stay so. Let your votes live in infamy. Say it clearly, and we will judge you accordingly.
So much to unpack. First of all, if you have an average IQ, the rest of us are in really deep trouble. So I'm gonna disagree with you there. But let me push you on two things. One on the pardons. New York Times, Mike Schmidt and Maggie Haberman breaking a story right before we came on the air that Trump is planning on pardoning himself. So it would appear that where we stand right now is that everyone, including Donald Trump, agrees that Donald Trump has committed crimes. Is that right?
Oh, I certainly think so. And Trump, I think, has known for a long time. I mean, in his heart, he's a criminal. I mean, this is the way he operates. This is why he uses his thug behavior. He's tried to keep himself in power as president because there is a Justice Department opinion from the early 1970s that says a sitting president can't be indicted. But here's the interesting thing, Nicole. That very same Justice Department wrote an opinion saying a sitting president can't pardon himself. It's a very and the rationales make sense together and they interlock with one another. So, of course, Trump wants to disregard that, but he's going to have to find an attorney general who agrees with him on that. Right now, the controlling opinion from the Justice Department is a president can't pardon himself. That is what every serious scholar, I think, basically agrees.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.